Hey guys, what's going on? We're out on the lake today, and what I want to do today is do a quick comparison video. We're going to use the live scope, and we're going to use a bunch of different popular crankbaits and show you guys the depth that they actually run. This is a video that I'm always searching for with different specific crankbaits on YouTube, and sometimes it's hard to find, so I figured I would just do it myself. We're going to be throwing every crankbait on the same rod and reel with 12-pound fluorocarbon, so you guys can get an accurate idea of how deep they run. And I'm going to be showing you the live scope so you can see exactly what the true running depth is on a bunch of your favorite crankbaits. Alright guys, so like I said, we're going to be comparing a few popular crankbaits, mostly mid and shallow depth baits for this video. Let me know if you want me to do some deeper ones or something like that in the future. What I'm going to be using is first a Frittside 7, a Frittside 5. We got a KVD 1.5 square bill. We have a Rapala OG Slim 6, a DT-6, a DT-8, and then we have a 6 cents flat 75. So I'm going to go through these baits one by one. I will put the timestamps in the video description below if you're looking for a specific bait. Alright, let's check out the Frittside 7 first. Like I said, I'm going to be throwing all these crankbaits on 12-pound fluorocarbon.
Alright, so the audio of this was a little tough with the wind, so I'm going to be doing some voiceover on these parts. As you can see, the crankbait coming down around 30 feet, right at around 7 feet down, which is what it's marketed at, Frittside 7. I'm going to show it again. Take a quick cast out here. You're going to see the bait popping up again there around 45. We're going to down to depth again. It's running good at 7, getting down and just about touching 8 feet. So slightly deeper than 7. Again, this is 12-pound fluorocarbon. Throw it out one more time and get a look at it here. We're going to crank this down again, right at about 7, getting down towards 8. Even dipping slightly below 8, so looks like you can get about 8 feet out of it.
Alright guys, so it looks like the Frittside 7 is pretty true to form. Berkley claims it runs 7 feet. If you crank it really fast, you can get it down to about 8, but 7 feet seems to be around its true running depth. Alright, so now we're going to try out the Frittside 5. A little bit smaller, shallower running version of that Frittside flat-sided crankbait.
Alright, so here we are sending out that Frittside 5. You can see here it comes to view at around 45, 40. It's down just under 4 feet, right around 5, about true to form. And again, something to keep in mind with all these crankbaits is you can control your depth a little further by changing your line size. I'm using 12 like I've been saying here, but if you go down to 10, you can get it a little deeper. You go up to 14 or 15, it'll rise a little shallower. So be sure to play with your line if you're trying to get something special out of it. There, it was a little hard to see, but you could see it getting down to 6 pretty easily there as I was cranking it a little bit faster. Looks like I'm just trying to adjust the boat and line up a good cast. It's pretty windy this day. It was a little tough to do this. So there's the bait coming into frame there at about 45, 40. Again, we're down about 5 feet, approaching, touching 6.
Alright, so it looks like again with the Berkley Frittside, it runs pretty true to form. Seems to stay right at about 5 feet at its max. It got down to around 6, but I would say 5 reliably. Alright guys, now let's check this one out from Strike King. This is the KVD 1.5 square bill. One of the most popular shallow water options out there. Let's see how deep it goes.
So this is one of the more interesting ones I did. The KVD square bill is one of the most popular crankbaits out there for good reason. It's caught them forever. This bait is advertised as 3 to 5, and as you can see coming into frame here at about 30, 25, it's getting no problem getting down to 5 feet with ease. I've heard people say that these run shallow. Did not seem to be the case with what I was seeing on the live scope. You can see it coming into frame here. 5 easy. We're down past 6 now. We're at about 7 feet right there at the apex of the cast, which I definitely didn't expect to get out of this bait. Probably one of the reasons it's such a fish catcher is, you know, it really digs and deflects well. You know, typically you're fishing 2 to 4 feet with this bait, and it can clearly dig down deeper than that. It probably gets a lot of deflection that way. So I was really impressed with this one.
Alright, so this KVD square bill I think is advertised as a 3 to 5 foot option. You could definitely get your 5 feet out of it, and it looks like you might even be able to get a little deeper down to 6 pretty consistently. Alright, now let's check out a couple of our Rapala options. We're going to start with the super popular DT series. This is a DT-6, and we're also going to do a DT-8. Let's do the DT-6 first.
Alright, now we're on to the DT series, which is one of my personal favorites for crankbaits. You know, wood body, so a little harder to cast, and I won't lie, they're pretty fragile. You break the bills off of them, slapping them around and hitting stuff a lot, but they're effective and they're fish catchers. As you can see here, around 30-25 feet, we're getting down into 7 with no problem. Again, this is a DT-6. Advertised as a 6 foot diving crankbait, so that's exactly what you want to see out of it. You know, if you're fishing 6 feet of water, you want to be hitting that bottom down at around 7. Here I am finding the crankbait at about 40-45 feet. We're getting down, you know, to 7 feet again, pretty consistently. So, you know, that's about what you want to see and what you would expect out of the 6 foot crankbait. On this cast, I try to crank it down a little harder and a little faster to see what we can really get out of it. You see it there in 40, 45. I'm down past 7. I'm touching 8. I'm a little bit past 8 at the apex of that. So you can see, you can get it down there if you really want to.
Alright, let's check out its slightly bigger brother, the DT-8. It's actually not bigger. I loved when Rapala came out with this option because it is a slightly deeper option and you don't have to bump up in size to the DT-10. But let's see if it really gets that much deeper than the DT-6.
Yeah, like I was saying there, I really enjoyed when they came out with this DT-8 option. You get a little more depth out of the same size crankbait without having to upgrade to a bigger bait. I'm from New Jersey and in the Northeast. It's tough to get them to bite real big crankbaits, so size is important. You can see me catching it here at about 45, 40. I'm down well past 8, past 9, touching 10 feet. There with a, you know, a moderate retrieve, not anything too fast. So you definitely see that you certainly get more depth out of it than the DT-6 with that bigger bill. Here we are casting out, find the bait again. We're at 55, 50. You know, we're down to 7 feet, 8 feet, 9 feet, just about touching 10. So, you know, that's really cool to see. You know, if you're trying to crank that bottom in 8 feet, you're certainly going to be grinding the bottom like you want to. And if you're trying to take the tops of grass, you know, you can fish grass coming up 9, 10 feet under the surface pretty effectively. So there it is. I tried to burn it there to see if you can get further than 10. Not really. Seems to be pretty consistent. Whether you're burning it fast or working it slow, you can get down to around that 9 foot, you know, 10 foot at the complete apex of the cast. Here I am trying my hardest to burn it again, like I said. Can't really get past 10, but that is more than fine for this bait.
Let's check out another offering from Rapala here. This is a pretty cool newer crankbait. This is called the OG Slim. This is the 6. So we're going to see how deep the OG Slim 6 goes.
Here's a bait I haven't really thrown too much, but a few of my buddies put me onto it recently, and they really seem to enjoy it. So I've been trying it out a bit lately. This is another, wooden body crankbait out of Rapala. You can see us finding it here at around 50, 45. And we're running right at about 6 down to 7-ish at the apex of the cast. I'm gonna try to fire it out again. It's a cool crankbait, flat sides, but still has a pretty aggressive wobble as far as a flat side crankbait goes. I wouldn't necessarily consider it a cold water crankbait from the looks of it. Here we are hovering, right at around 6, barely under. This was one of those baits, compared to the DTs, it seemed like in the DTs you get a decent bit more depth than advertised. This seems to run right around 6 like it says. Sometimes you can get a little lower to hit stuff, but right around 6 feet is what you're going to expect out of this one.
Alright, now we're going to try one from a company I'm sure you guys have been hearing a lot of buzz about, 6 Cents. And this is their flat 75 crankbait. So let's see how deep this goes.
Alright, so here's another one that I don't have a ton of experience with. I picked a few up this season to try out because I've heard very good things, not only about this crankbait, but of all the 6 Cents baits. So I'm really starting to try to dive into some of them this season. You can see the bait showing up here at around 35. It's getting down to about 5 feet, maybe touching 6 at the most. This is a square build, flat-sided option. Again, has a wider wobble for sure than like a Frittside, for example. 6 down even a little deeper there, maybe touching 7. I'd say comfortably 6.5 feet there. Let's throw it out one more time and take a look at it. You can see the bait coming into frame right there at about 45, 40. Again, hovering right at about that 6 foot, maybe 6.5, approaching 7 mark.
Alright guys, so that's going to wrap up our comparison video. Overall, I was pleasantly surprised with pretty much all of these baits. I did not expect them to run as true to the advertising as they said. If anything, a lot of these baits got a little bit more than they say, which is always a good thing. I really expected there to be more variance in this, but it's good to know that some of my favorite and some of the most popular crankbaits are popular for a reason. They seem to run true to what they say. If you guys want to see more videos like this, me comparing other crankbaits, comparing other baits, or anything like that, let me know in the comments. I do plan over the summer, when the pools are open, doing some underwater footage of some baits, so let me know what stuff you guys would like to see running underwater. And thank you guys for checking it out. Talk to you next time.